Hi, and welcome to Astro Bites for Tuesday, October the 1st, 2024. Well, here we go, beginning of another month. And remember, I'll be doing my live month ahead tonight, live stream at 1800 Central European Daylight Time and an hour earlier as we go west. And if you go to the live stream playlist on my YouTube channel, click on the notification button, and then you get notified at your location on the planet when it's about to start. So let's look first at the astrology for the day, and then we will move on to the word for the day, another one from my list of lovely words suggested by one of you. So for the 1st of October, we have the moon has just gone into Libra. So that's great. So it's preparing us for the new moon annular solar eclipse, which is happening on Wednesday, which of course is tomorrow. And the moon is actually, as it goes into, because before it left Virgo, which was a sort of a couple of hours ago, it was trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Now, this is quite important because even though it's going to be doing this once a month, it kind of sets the tone for the day. And what it's done is it's reformed this kite configuration that I was going on about most of last week. So we've got this kite formation between retrograde Uranus in Taurus that is sextiling retrograde Neptune in Pisces, in turn sextiling retrograde Pluto in Capricorn, and they are in turn trining the moon in first of all Virgo and then now in Libra, and the vertex, which is a trigger point. This is quite powerful for the beginning of the month, and I will probably go into more depth with this chart tonight because it really will be setting quite a kind of setting the scene for what we can expect through the month of October. But let's have a look at today's energy in particular, because this will be helpful. We've still got this trine aspect from Mars in Cancer. Remember, Mars is our planet of action, energy, activity, assertion, the masculine, still trining Venus in Scorpio. So we've still got this grand water trine as they both go up to trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And so we've got a kite and a grand water trine. And we have Mars jostling for position to square the new moon when it happens in Libra. So quite a lot to kind of somehow contain. Interestingly, in the event chart, Saturn is on what we call the MC, which is right at the top of the chart. It's called the midheaven. And it's as if Saturn, because Saturn is about containment and boundaries, it's in Pisces. It's actually about really putting out some kind of roots to hold everything in place in what seems to be a pretty unstable atmosphere. And maybe that's what we're going to be experiencing today, that there will be some unstable energies, news, challenging kind of energies around, because Mercury, our planet of communication, is conjunct dark moon Lilith in Libra. So we could see secrets revealed and scandals coming out. And I don't think people are being open and honest. And I think that's going to be in part on the world stage, and partly that may be happening in your own personal relationships. There are things that are being kept from you. Still got that cat hair. There are things that are being kept from you. And there'll be a sense today of us all wanting to go, oh God, I'm fed up with all of this. I'm just going to follow my star, do my thing. They can all get on with it. So a sense of a little bit of overthinking and irritation in the mix. So what else have we got today? Well, really the energy is building up to this new moon solar eclipse. And of course, I will be talking more about that tomorrow. So, shall we move on to the word of the day? Yes, let's make today's a shorter Astro Bite. Actually, today's word is lovely. Discombobulated. Don't you just love that word? And it's one of those words we use all the time. Well, not all the time, but we use quite a lot. And I thought, oh, this will be an interesting one to research. So the actual kind of, I suppose, dictionary meaning is it means to be confused, disoriented, or thrown into a state of disorder. Well, I think I'm probably like that most of the time. When I get up in the morning, I'm discombobulated. It describes a feeling of being unsettled or out of sorts, often due to unexpected circumstances or overwhelming information. Now, isn't that an interesting word that I've chosen by chance or not for today? Because I just wonder whether there is going to be news flying around, whether it's on the world stage or in our personal lives, which really kind of throws us off course. And we go, whoa, what do I make of this? How do I handle that? Because it just feels like it's all really a little bit crazy out there. I found some quotes. So I've got this one. I felt like my mind was unraveling like a ball of yarn rolling across a room full of chaos. I'd throw in a little bit of tumbleweed there as well, I think. And what they say here is, this conveys the sense of mental confusion and lack of control. And I suppose when we're discombobulated, we are confused and we don't have much in the way of a sense of control over everything. And then the next one is, my thoughts are like a tornado, swirling, shifting, and leaving everything in a state of disarray. Well, I would have said, leaving everything in a state of complete discombobulation. And this represents the overwhelming feeling of disorientation. Oh, actually, that's horrible, isn't it? When we're disoriented, that is horrible. It's like the image that has come into me is when I came round from my anaesthetic from my, well, I have to go on about it, don't I? My 8.5 hour spinal surgery. I think I was a bit discombobulated. And I know I put some very crazy videos up on my channel. If you haven't seen them, they're in, I think they're in shorts or in, or just short little videos, but they're completely bonkers, completely discombobulated. But I wanted everyone to know how I was. And you know how I get into a little bit of too much oversharing. Well, I certainly did then. So let's move on. So we've also got, sometimes you just lose your way and all you're left with is a blur of mismatched pieces. This describes the confusion and uncertainty of being discombobulated. And that can happen in conversations and relationships when we think, I really don't know what that other person is going on about. Hello? What are you saying? What did you just say? What do you mean? Which reminds us, of course, about that word the other day where respect, about active listening and listening to the other. Here's another one. It was like trying to read a book in a storm. Everything was moving and nothing made sense. That's quite interesting, isn't it? And, you know, what I'm thinking of is going into a rather sort of sadder place, is people that suffer from dementia, because they are really in a permanent state of discombobulation. My father had Alzheimer's and passed away from it. It took him out within a year. It's a horrible, horrible condition, because the brain actually doesn't even remember to remind the person that they're hungry or how to work the organs. And so in his case, the brain was just disintegrating. And so he felt very discombobulated a lot of the time, well, most of the time when he got taken ill. And it's confusion and uncertainty. And it's a horrible, horrible condition. And I'm sure many of you have experienced it and looked after people with dementia and Alzheimer's. And my heart goes out to anyone who is in that situation at the moment, because it is just hard work, hard work. Here's another one. So I was lost in space or time, but in the maze of my own thoughts. That's rather lovely, isn't it? I don't particularly see that as being particularly discombobulated. I see that as that kind of meditation when we just gaze into space and we just allow our mind to just roll, to go, to just ramble through thoughts. And it can be so calming and relaxing to just stare, to just, sounds ridiculous, stare at a corner of the room, stare at the wall, stare at a view. This opens up and releases. But I guess basically the bottom line about discombobulated is that it illustrates bewilderment, confusion, and disarray associated with being discombobulated. Well, I don't know how many of you are feeling discombobulated this morning. For me, I'm of course recording these on Saturday the 28th, so I have no idea how I will feel on Tuesday morning. So maybe let me know in the chat if you have, if you're feeling particularly discombobulated, and hopefully a good breakfast and a cup of coffee or tea or whatever other healthy choice you decide to make will ease some of your discombobulation. On that note, I'll say thank you so much for joining me for this Astro Bites, and please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you tonight, isn't it? Yes, tonight for the live stream, full month ahead. Okay, there we go. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with another Astro Bite. Okay, bye for now.